Okay, so we loaded up our kick, and now we will drag in a couple of claps and a couple of hi-hat sounds, and we're going to use like 4 claps, for example, and we're going to throw them on different MIDI tracks here. I'm not going to put them into instrument racks or drum racks because I want to use this track delay function down here to relatively move them around against each other and see if we can find an interesting groove. So let's use a clap sample called, actually let's use one called Perc, which is going to be some top click part, and just sort of drag it on this MIDI channel here, the one we have left over here. Actually, you can move our kick below the sidechain, and now we have this percussive element here on our 3rd track. And let's copy this sidechain MIDI pattern. I'm holding Alt, I'm copying that clip, and now right click, clap, Perc. But that's not what we're looking for. So let's go in there and delete the first one and the 3rd one. That's more like it. Let's select both and no, not that. Let's undo that and drag them a bit longer. And take, well, the kick level down a little bit, maybe -5, and also the Perc level down a little bit. Okay, and let's put in more sounds into the clap position actually. So let's duplicate this simply to preserve those patterns already and just change the sample. So the next sample we are looking for in our core samples folder is going to be claps. Drag it in here. So on this track here, you see how it changes the name automatically for the sample name. And we have to do it manually here. Alright, so those are layered claps. And another sample, duplicate again. And now we are looking for a sample called high clap. Here we go. It's actually just a hat, top hat sound. Rename it to hat. So you get this upper element on top. And we are going to process them in a minute, but let's pull all the stuff up and put it in here first. And now let's put in this darker clap sound, which is called clap mind. Yeah, nice one. Drag it in here. Call it clap mind. Actually, we might need a longer MIDI for that one. So I'm dragging this a bit longer down here, double clicking, piano roll, take it longer, unsolo the track. Now this hat is really loud, so let's bring it down. And bring this down as well. Okay, let's select all of these guys and fold them. And we can actually, what is good clap color? I don't know, make them blue. Well, not that blue. Maybe this blue. And do the same thing here as well. Okay, let's put in some hi-hats. Insert a new MIDI track below clap mind. And let's take this closed hi-hat sample here. And we have this channel selected. And if we sort of go hover over here with our mouse, we can drop instrument or sample here. And that way we are getting a simpler. Of course, you can also go to instruments and select a simpler from here, drag it onto the channel, and then go to core samples and do this. So there are several steps, several possibilities of performing that step. Let's copy the sidechain again and rename it to hi-hat. and double click, select all these guys and move them to the 3rd position. Okay, bring it down, -10. Maybe even more. Basic pattern for now. Let's actually pick this color here. And I'm copying that one. Duplicate. And now we are looking for this longer hi-hat sound. That one. So let's drag this in here. And shortly go to length down here and put that on 20%. So if you're still working with Ableton 9 or 9.2, your simpler looks a little bit different, but you have all these controls that we are going to use here. And you can just watch the video about the differences between the newer and the older version so you can get along well. Okay, bring this down a little more. Okay, now let's also throw in an audio loop. So below the 8th track, I'm putting in another audio track. And that is going to be the loop. And where's the loop? There it is. It's a custom made loop. And actually we have to bring those longer 2 bars now. Now, if we select everything from behind, we can drag it along here and rename this track to #loop. Bring that down. Okay, let's load up another sample into a simpler device. So another MIDI track needed, and it's called Tom Tom. It's actually a kick. So let's drop it here into a simpler device. And we need a long MIDI clip for that one. Insert MIDI clip, rename to Tom. And go in there, open it up a little bit, C3. And let's play this one. And I'm copying it holding Alt. Yeah. And let's bring the levels down here. We don't want to play that at the pitch of the kick, so go to Controls and transpose it up 1 octave. So 12 semitones here. So we're not doing too much with that now. Also, we want to load up this little perky sound. So this is really a track relying heavily on drum parts. So we have to load up a lot of drum samples. Like this one, for example. Drag that one on channel 11 here. And let's create a new clip here. Also 2 bars long. And insert a MIDI clip. Call this one Perc 2. And go in there and select C3 for now and draw in some notes right before the 2nd bar down here. It's actually pre-listen. Bring it down in the levels here and copy until we are at 1, 4, 2. Okay. And now let's take a look at 32s. And what we need is 4 times faster. So narrowest grid, and let's do it like this. copy, copy, copy. And leave out the last two ones. So how did I do that? I select them and hit 0. And this is how you activate and deactivate MIDI notes. You might be thinking, what the hell is this? We're going to process that thing as well. And actually it will be played at a much shorter length, so we can put that in now already. So let's go down to something like 4%. Also, we need a write sound at our end of the two bars. So let's right click, insert another MIDI track, look for a write sound. Exactly this one. Drag it on there as well. And 1 bar, 2 bars. So again, MIDI clip for 2 bars. Call that write. Go in there. And we need the write playing C3 at 2/4/3 down here. So just at the end of the second bar. So preview that and bring it down by -15 for now. Okay, and finally, for this step, we're going to drag in a simple audio sample, audio track, insert. So we create this new audio track and then we go to our samples here and look for Perc ref and drag this sample onto this channel like this. And let's call that one Perc ref. Right, bring it down a little bit. Okay, so now we loaded up a lot of stuff and a lot of clap sounds and, hi-hats and loops and this tom here, and we set up the basic MIDI patterns. So this was an important step, and if you had the feeling we rushed through it, we are going into detail on these elements now in the next steps, but now at least we have the basic loops set up and we can work our way from here and go further into detail. Now we nicely have our clap layers set up already. We have 2 hi-hats set up already. We have this additional loop thing set up and a bit of tom sounds and this percussive FX element here, the ride at the end of the pattern and this interesting percussive kind of effect as well. So let's go on.